Morning, Pastor Steve here. And Matthew 6, 5 through 8, Jesus said, when you pray, don't be as the hypocrites are. They love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, enter into your closet, and when you have shut the door to pray to your Father which is in secret, your Father which sees in secret will reward you openly. When you pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do. They think they should be heard for their much speaking. Don't be like them, for your Father knows what you have need of before you ask him. Andrew Murray wrote, if there's one thing I think the church needs to learn, it is that God means prayer to have an answer, and that it has not entered into the heart of man to conceive what God will do for his child who gives himself to believe that his prayer will be heard. He also said, I feel sure that as long as we look on prayer chiefly as the means of maintaining our own Christian life, we will not fully know what it's supposed to be. I admire these old prayer warriors. Listen to David Brainerd, an early New England missionary. Sometime in February 1738 or 9, he said, I set apart a day for secret fasting and prayer, spent the day in almost incessant cries to God for mercy that he would open my eyes to see the evil of sin and the way of life by Jesus Christ. And God was pleased that day to make considerable discoveries of my heart to me, and to make my endeavors a means to show me my helplessness in some measure. I constantly strove after whatever qualifications I imagined others obtained before the reception of Christ. Sometimes I felt the power of a hard heart, and I supposed it must be softened before Christ would accept me. And when I felt any meltings of my heart, I hoped now the work was almost done, and then when my distress still remained, I was wont to murmur at God's dealings with me, and thought when others felt their hearts softened, God showed them mercy, but my distress still remained. He continues, in the time while I remained in this state, my notions respecting my duties were quite different from what I had entertained in times past. Now I saw there was no necessary connection between my prayers and divine mercy, that they laid not the least obligation on God to bestow his grace on me, that there was no more goodness in them than there would be in my paddling in the water, which was the comparison I had them in my mind. And this because they were not performed from any love to God. I saw that I had heaped up my devotions before God, fasting and praying, and really thinking I was aiming at the glory of God when I really didn't intend it. There are many, many examples of great prayer warriors of old. I've been blessed with several in my life. My mother, who will be 95 this month, prays fervently for us every day. My sister Deb was an example of true intercessory prayer. Jesus took her. My wife is dedicated to prayer, and honestly, I'm sure that any fruit that's added to our ministry here finds its nurture there. Let's all seek the face of our Lord with open honesty, not just to get stuff from God, but to become people of God. You ponder that